What if the signs that someone you love is in their final year of life are so subtle that you might miss them altogether? For many people, the early clues that indicate the end is near are incredibly faint, often going unnoticed until it's too late. Hospice nurses and geriatric doctors frequently describe this as the body whispering before it starts to shout. These subtle changes can be easy to overlook in the rush of daily life, but recognizing them early could make all the difference in how you care for your loved one during their final months. It's not always about big, obvious signs. Sometimes it's a slight shift in their energy, a change in their appetite, or perhaps moments when they seem less engaged or more tired than usual. These quiet indicators can help you understand what your loved one is going through and allow you to provide the most thoughtful and compassionate care possible. When caught early, these whispers of the body can lead to better planning, deeper emotional connection, and a peaceful final chapter. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more valuable content. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so be sure to leave a comment below, share your experiences or questions, and let's continue this conversation together. Number 1, social withdrawal without obvious reason. Have you ever noticed a loved one, perhaps a parent or grandparent, slowly pulling away from the world around them? At first, it might seem like nothing more than a phase. They stop calling friends as often, skip the usual social gatherings, or begin to avoid family get-togethers. It doesn't seem like a big deal, just a minor shift in behavior. But what if I told you this quiet retreat from the world could be a sign of something much deeper happening inside? It's easy to brush it off as simply getting older or chalk it up to mood swings. After all, everyone has their off days. But what many don't realize is that this kind of social withdrawal can be a silent warning, an early indicator of a much more serious issue beneath the surface. It's not just about feeling tired or cranky, it's the soul's way of preparing for something that might be hard to face, and it often starts long before any physical symptoms show up. Imagine this. Your once energetic parent, who used to be the life of the party, now prefers staying home. They stop picking up the phone when friends call and seem uninterested in even the most casual outings. They may not even explain why they don't want to go out anymore. The change is subtle, but it's noticeable, like a dimming light slowly fading into the background. What many of us fail to see is that emotional withdrawal is a common early sign of something more than just getting older. Experts in aging and mental health agree that it can be one of the first clues that something serious is going on, even if there are no immediate physical health concerns. Social detachment can be the soul's way of protecting itself from the inevitable changes that are taking place, a quiet signal that the person is starting to mentally or emotionally prepare for a future that's harder to face. While we often wait for the obvious signs, a sudden fall, a health crisis, or a doctor's diagnosis, emotional withdrawal can happen long before any physical problems show up. This doesn't mean they're intentionally pulling away or rejecting you. It's just that the energy it takes to maintain connections, to engage, or even to care about certain things begins to fade. The feeling of disconnect becomes overwhelming, and the person might retreat into themselves, unable to articulate why. This emotional shift can also be linked to an internal battle they're not ready to talk about: fear, confusion, or even a growing sense of helplessness about the future. As a society, we often expect our older loved ones to remain as active and engaged as they once were, but we forget that their mental and emotional states are also changing in ways that we may not see right away. If you notice this withdrawal happening in someone you care about, it's important to approach the situation with patience and understanding. Don't dismiss it as just part of aging. Instead, see it as an opportunity to connect on a deeper level, to check in, and to gently ask what's going on inside. This early emotional shift could be the key to understanding what your loved one is going through, and it might just help you be there for them when they need it most. Number 2, unexplained weight loss. Despite normal eating habits, have you ever noticed someone slowly losing weight despite eating the same meals they always have? At first, it might seem like a normal part of aging, but when the pounds keep dropping without explanation, it can raise a lot of questions. This phenomenon is more common than many realize, especially as people enter their later years. and it often goes unnoticed until it's already happening. Imagine this. You're eating just as much as you always have, enjoying the same meals and snacks, yet you find yourself shedding pounds without trying. It doesn't make sense, right? Normally, if you eat less, you lose weight. If you eat more, you gain. But what if your body started playing by its own rules, slowly and silently shrinking, no matter how much food you put in front of it? This is something that can start to happen as people get older. As we age, our metabolism begins to slow down. It's like the body starts to become more efficient, but in a way that's not always helpful. The systems that once worked in overdrive, digesting food, burning calories, and keeping things running smoothly, begin to wind down. The body doesn't have the same energy reserves it once did, and because of this, it starts making tough decisions about what's truly necessary. Now let's break it down. As the metabolism slows, the body becomes more selective in how it uses the nutrients we give it. Imagine a resource manager who's told to cut down on the budget. Everything that isn't absolutely essential gets reduced or cut out. This could mean that your body isn't absorbing nutrients as efficiently as it once did. Even though you're eating the same amount, your body isn't able to make use of those nutrients in the way it used to. And this process isn't just about appetite. It's not that older adults suddenly lose their hunger or interest in food. It's more about how the body shifts into a kind of survival mode. Instead of using the energy from food to fuel daily activities or repair cells, it prioritizes just the bare minimum needed to keep the most essential functions running. For example, the body might focus energy on heart and lung function, while less vital areas like muscle mass slowly waste away. In some cases, the weight loss could be subtle at first. It could start with the clothes fitting a little looser, a few pounds here and there. But over time, it can become more pronounced, leading to a noticeable thinning of the body. This slow and steady shrinking doesn't always have a direct explanation like a diet change or increased exercise. It's simply the body adjusting to its aging process. So when you see someone losing weight despite no change in their eating habits, it could be a sign that their metabolism is slowing down and their body's conserving energy. This isn't just a sign of aging. It's a reminder that the body in its later years starts to prioritize survival over everything else. It's an interesting, yet often overlooked aspect of getting older, and understanding it can help us better navigate the changes we see in ourselves and our loved ones as time passes. Number 3, sleeping far more than usual. As we journey through life, sleep often takes a back seat to our daily routines. We push ourselves to work harder, socialize more, and squeeze in just a few more tasks before the day ends. But what happens when sleep begins to take over? Not just at night, but throughout the day. Imagine this. You're talking to someone, and suddenly they seem to drift off in the middle of the conversation. You might think they're just bored or tired, but there's something deeper happening. Sleep, once a brief escape, starts claiming longer portions of their day. Short naps that used to feel refreshing stretch into hours. Days pass where they sleep for most of the time, almost as if the body is trying to communicate that something important is shifting. This increased need for rest isn't just laziness or a sign of depression. It's something much more profound. It's the body's natural way of slowing down, conserving energy, and preparing for the inevitable. The process is subtle but powerful, almost like the quiet hum of a car engine winding down after a long journey. When faced with the gradual, gentle approach of the end of life, the body takes measures to preserve itself, ensuring it has enough life force to continue as long as possible. Hospice workers, who are trained to notice these signs, often see this shift in people nearing their final year of life. They describe the sleep patterns of their patients as something almost magical. Sleep can double or even triple compared to usual amounts, and it's not unusual for someone to spend entire days resting. At first, it may seem alarming or confusing, but it's a sign that the body is doing what it needs to survive, even if it's just for a little while longer. During this time, the mind also starts to wander, and sleep becomes more than just a biological need. It's as though the soul is preparing itself for a peaceful transition. Dreams, sometimes vivid and strange, can fill the sleep hours, reflecting the internal journey the person is undergoing. This isn't a sign of decline, but rather a way for the body and mind to come to terms with what lies ahead. It's an invitation to rest, to recharge for the next phase of existence, however that may look. Family members and loved ones may watch in quiet wonder as they see someone they care about sleep more than ever. At first, it might be unsettling, but with time, they often come to understand that this is part of the natural process. It's not the end, but the preparation for it. A delicate, tender slowing of the body's gears as it readies itself for the final moments. The increased sleep is the body's way of saying, I need rest now. Let me conserve my energy for what matters most. By the time the final moments come, there's a sense of peace. The long hours of sleep have allowed the person to settle into a quiet acceptance, free of the distractions of the waking world. It's a beautiful, serene way of saying goodbye, allowing the body to rest in preparation for the next step. Those who've experienced this process often find comfort in knowing that the body's natural response is an act of grace, a final gentle way of embracing the inevitable. So if you notice someone you love sleeping more than usual, it may be unsettling at first, but remember, it's not just an absence of energy. It's a profound and necessary part of life's natural rhythm, guiding them toward peace. Number 4, moments of confusion, even in familiar places. We've all had those moments, walking into a room and forgetting why we're there, struggling to recall the name of a family member, or staring at the microwave like it's a puzzle we just can't solve. These moments often get brushed off as senior moments or a natural part of aging. But what if there's more going on beneath the surface? It's easy to think that these lapses are just a quirky part of growing older, but neurologists suggest they could be a sign of something deeper, a gradual change happening within our bodies and brains. Imagine being in your own kitchen, a space you know like the back of your hand. You go to heat something in the microwave, but for a second you just can't remember how to set the timer. You might feel embarrassed or frustrated, but it's not your fault. This moment of confusion could be tied to the simple fact that, as we age, our circulation begins to slow down. Blood, which carries oxygen and nutrients to the brain, doesn't flow as efficiently as it used to. Without enough oxygen, your brain has to work harder to stay clear and sharp. Our brains are constantly at work, even when we don't realize it. Every time we remember someone's name or perform a simple task, our brain is firing off millions of connections. But when circulation decreases, those connections can start to weaken. The brain has a harder time processing information quickly, making once simple tasks seem more challenging. So when you forget something that should be second nature, it's not just a sign of aging, it's your brain struggling to keep up. These lapses in memory or confusion don't just happen with big tasks either. Sometimes it's as if we're walking through life in a fog, not quite able to focus. You might find yourself standing in front of a loved one, and for a split second, you can't remember their name. Or maybe you forget where you put your keys, even though you swear you just had them. These aren't just one-off moments. They're part of a bigger picture that often goes unnoticed. The brain's decreased ability to stay sharp can make even the most familiar surroundings feel foreign. While it can be disorienting to experience these moments, they don't always point to something serious. However, they serve as a reminder that our bodies, especially our brains, are constantly changing. As we age, it's important to pay attention to how we feel and to recognize when something might be off. These seemingly small lapses might be the first signs that the brain isn't getting the oxygen it needs to perform at its best. It's important to remember that these lapses don't define us. Just because we forget something today doesn't mean we're destined for more confusion in the future. The brain is incredibly resilient, and with the right care, we can help it function more effectively. Regular exercise, staying mentally active, and even practicing mindfulness can all help boost circulation and keep our minds sharp as we age. So the next time you forget where you put your phone or struggle with a familiar task, don't be too hard on yourself. These moments don't have to be seen as failures or signs of decline. Instead, they can be a clue to understanding what's happening inside our bodies. The brain is a powerful organ, but even the strongest systems need a little support to keep working at their best. Number 5, changes in breathing rhythm. When we think about signs of someone nearing the end of life, we often focus on the more obvious changes, loss of appetite, weakness, or confusion. But there's one crucial and often overlooked sign that can appear well before the final days. Changes in breathing rhythm. This subtle shift, which may go unnoticed at first, can be a powerful signal of what's to come. It all begins with a slight change you might not even notice immediately: shallow breathing. At first, it might seem like nothing more than a little breathlessness, a slight effort to catch one's breath. You might hear it when the person moves, or even when they're just resting. It's soft, almost unnoticeable. Just a whisper of air that feels different but is easy to overlook. As time goes on, this shallow breathing may come in waves. The pattern starts to shift, becoming more erratic. Sometimes the breath might come faster than usual and then slow down abruptly. Other times you might notice that the person pauses between breaths, as if they've forgotten to breathe for a brief moment. These pauses can last for several seconds, and though they seem unsettling, they're part of a natural process called Cheney-Stokes respiration. Cheney-Stokes respiration is a medical term that sounds more complicated than it actually is. It simply refers to an abnormal breathing pattern that often happens in the later stages of life, especially in people who are nearing death. The breathing follows a cycle: deep, rapid breaths, followed by a gradual decrease in depth, a short pause, and then the cycle repeats itself. This irregular rhythm is a clear sign that the body is adjusting, and sometimes struggling, to maintain regular breathing. What's surprising is that these changes can start months before death. Early on, it might be very faint. Perhaps you hear an occasional deep sigh or notice a slight pause in breathing that doesn't seem to last long. Families often don't recognize this for what it is right away. They might assume it's just part of the normal aging process or think it's related to some other health issue. But over time, these irregular patterns become more noticeable and more frequent. It's easy to brush off these early signs because they don't always feel urgent. But this is a mistake. These small changes in breathing are important clues that indicate the body is preparing for something more significant. When you start hearing those deep sighs or noticing more frequent pauses in breath, it might be time to pay attention. Understanding these patterns can help you offer better care and provide the comfort that's needed in those precious moments. As unsettling as it may sound, these changes in breathing rhythm aren't something to fear. They're simply part of the body's natural transition. They offer us a chance to be more present, to offer support, and to truly understand what's happening. By recognizing these shifts early, you can prepare yourself emotionally and practically for what's to come, ensuring that the person you love is cared for with compassion. Number 6, cooler, paler skin in hands and feet. Have you ever touched someone's hand or foot and felt an unexpected chill? Maybe the skin was colder than usual, or there was even a faint bluish tint around the fingertips or toes. It can be startling at first, especially when the person hasn't been in a cold environment. But this sensation, though seemingly small, might be telling you something much deeper about the body's survival instincts. Imagine your body as a highly skilled survival machine, always working behind the scenes to protect you. When things start to go wrong, like when illness or injury takes over, your body will prioritize keeping the most essential functions alive. This is where your circulatory system comes into play. The blood flow that normally travels evenly through your body gets rerouted, focusing on your core organs, heart, lungs, and brain, while less important areas, like your hands and feet, start to get less attention. When this happens, the blood supply to the extremities decreases, causing the skin on your hands and feet to become colder. You might notice it most in the fingertips or toes, where the skin sometimes even takes on a bluish hue. This is a sign of what doctors call peripheral cyanosis, a term used to describe the bluish tint that appears when the body isn't getting enough oxygen in certain areas. At first glance, it might seem like something as simple as a chill from the weather, but when this happens without any external cause, it's a clue that the body's in crisis mode. It's a signal that the body is redirecting resources, focusing on the organs that are absolutely necessary for survival. While your heart, lungs, and brain need oxygen-rich blood to function properly, your hands and feet are less critical in life or death situations. The body is doing what it can to ensure that you stay alive, even if that means your extremities suffer. This slowing of circulation is a response to stress, whether physical, like a severe infection, or emotional, like shock or trauma. The body's way of ensuring that resources are available to keep you breathing and your heart pumping is to conserve and redirect blood flow. It's a primal instinct, an automatic process designed to keep you safe. In extreme cases, this change in circulation can signal a very serious issue, like heart failure, shock, or respiratory distress. So if you notice someone's skin feeling unusually cold, or you see that bluish tint creeping along the edges of their hands or feet, it's important to pay attention. This subtle change can be an early warning sign of something more severe happening inside the body. It's a reminder that the body's always working, even when we don't see it, to protect us from harm. The next time you feel that chill or spot that bluish hue, remember that it's not just a small inconvenience. It's your body's way of saying, I'm doing everything I can to keep you alive. It's a fascinating, if unsettling, glimpse into the complex and life-saving processes happening inside us every day. Keep an eye out for these subtle signs, because they might just help you catch a serious health issue before it escalates. If you notice even the smallest sign that something is off, don't let uncertainty or fear paralyze you. In moments like these, it's easy to fall into a state of doubt, questioning if you're overthinking or imagining things. But if there's even a glimmer of something that feels different, it's important to trust your instincts. Don't wait for the situation to become clearer or more comfortable. When you feel a shift in someone's world, it's time to lean in, not step back. This isn't the time to be distant or to second-guess your impulses. It's the time to talk more, to engage in conversation, no matter how small or big. Don't hold back your words, your thoughts, or your emotions. Let them know you're there, truly there with them. Ask about their past, their dreams, or their everyday life. Sometimes the most powerful conversations don't require grand gestures, but simple, honest exchanges. Even if you talk about the things that feel hard or awkward, just being there to listen can make all the difference. A hug might feel like a simple gesture, but in moments like these, it becomes so much more. Take an extra second to hold them, feel their warmth, and let your presence speak louder than any words could. The comfort of being held is an unspoken language. It says, I'm here, in a way that can soothe fears, calm anxieties, and bring a sense of peace to an otherwise turbulent moment. The beauty of a hug is that it doesn't need to be explained. It's a gesture of love that transcends the need for dialogue, especially when words fall short. Don't rush to let go. Let it linger for both your sake. In times when life feels fragile, it's so important to bring comfort instead of denial. It's easy to want to turn away from the truth or try to block out the tough realities that come with it. But offering comfort means acknowledging the situation for what it is, even when it feels uncomfortable. Don't shy away from the hard conversations or the sadness that may come. Instead, approach these moments with empathy and presence. Denying the truth won't make it disappear, but offering genuine comfort and understanding can make a world of difference. It's about showing that no matter how difficult things get, you're there, and you will face whatever comes together.